Hello, kings and queens. King Moreland here. I want to start this video off by saying thank you to all of my students. As you guys know, I'm in a classroom because I am actually a teacher. And I stopped YouTube for a while because teaching was becoming a lot. And I always want to pour my all into the students. So that was something that I was really locked in on. So I was giving them my all. So shout out to my fourth and fifth grade students. They actually are the reason why I'm getting back into it. Had a lot of them tell me that they're tapped into the content, and I know that the kind of content I put out is very inspirational for them and something that they can rely on. And although they might not understand everything I talk about now, I know that eventually it'll all start clicking to them as they get older. And I also know that I have an older audience. And I also know that I'm making a difference and that I started this YouTube in the first place to make a difference and help guide people throughout life and share the wisdom that I've learned through reading thousands of pages of books and reading over 1,000 books. I've read a lot of books. That's actually why I became an English teacher. Figured if I enjoy reading the way I do, I should teach it. So yeah, that's big for me. But I wanted to say that. So now we can get into the intro and we can actually finish the trilogy I started. That's another thing that brought me back to this. I stopped in the middle of a trilogy. How are you guys gonna know how to escape your comfort zone if I didn't tell you the last step? Let's get to it. Hello, my kings and queens. King Moreland here. As you know, I'm on a mission to help you unlock your full potential and become the absolute best versions of yourself. If you are facing challenges, chasing dreams, or just looking to level up, come to the right place. Every week, we dive deep into strategies, mindset shifts, and practical tools that will transform your life from the inside out. This channel is your channel, your personal development channel, so you can become the powerhouses you were meant to be in the world. A channel where mediocrity isn't an option and excellence is our standard. So if you're ready to join a dedicated, passionate community of individuals just like yourself that are committed to growth and getting better, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and share this with somebody like yourself. Welcome. All right. We are back to finish the final chapter in our trilogy on escaping your comfort zone. So, finally, you feel like you're experiencing growth. Here's how you actually become unstoppable. Because you might feel like you're moving in the right direction, but a lot of times you're just running in place. Many people confuse being in motion with progress. They stay busy, distracted, and even slightly motivated, but years pass and nothing really actually changes. You might have not heard this term before, but that's actually called the growth cap. The silent space between where what you're doing and who you're becoming hasn't happened yet. So that's when you set out to face your fears. You begin to escape that comfort zone, but then you find a new comfort of just learning stuff, but not actually acting on it. See, it's important for us to escape our comfort zone, but at some point, you actually have to do the work and execute on the things that you are learning to stay out of your comfort zone and actually grow. So here's what that looks like. The growth cap is that feeling that you're doing something, but still getting nowhere. You read books, watch videos, plan your goals, but nothing really moves. You stay stuck in cycles that feel productive, but you're really just indulging in distractions that are wearing a good disguise that makes you think you're actually growing. So here's the psychology behind it. When you first leave your comfort zone, it's scary. But after a while, if you're not careful, You build a new comfort zone, just disguised up in a hustle that looks on surface level like you're actually going forward, but in reality, you're staying in place. What happens is you're working on things and you're reading and you're learning, but you're not launching any businesses. You're not actually acting on anything that you're learning. So you stay stuck in a place where you're learning constantly, but you're not actually acting on what you're learning. So you're not actually growing. Let that sink in. So here's some real life examples of what that looks like. The person who always has big ideas and has been learning, like, oh man, I just learned about real estate. Oh man, I just learned about stocks. If you haven't made your first real estate deal or you haven't purchased a stock, all you're doing is learning. You're failing on the part where you have to execute. And executing is hard. That's honestly why I'm making this series in general. I wanted you guys to first understand that you're in the comfort zone, because a lot of us are. But then I wanted to teach you how to break out of that. And now I'm trying to teach you how to actually get out of it and stay out of it, right? So let's dive a little deeper. Here's a sign of someone who's stuck in that growth gap. The person who signs up for every course, but they never finish it. Might be you, or you might know someone. What about the person who's preparing for performances, but they never actually perform anything? What happens is they've left their comfort zone, but they haven't yet set a system in place that they can actually fall upon to build new standards for themselves. So they face their fears halfway, essentially. And unfortunately, when they get stuck there, they find themselves drifting throughout life because they're not actually executing on anything. So even though you feel like you've escaped your comfort zone and you face your fears, you're actually still stuck, unfortunately. And that's why they call it the growth gap. It makes you feel like you're moving forward, even when you're actually standing still. So here's how you actually escape your comfort zone and then beat the growth gap and actually begin to grow. You start reading books and then you apply the knowledge you gained. Sounds easy, but a lot of people don't. When you start planning these big ideas, you actually start launching them. You actually start following through on what you're planning. When you learn and execute, that is when you actually start experiencing growth. And I'll be honest with you, most of you will fail the first time you do this. But when you fail, you learn from your mistake, make adjustments, and then you execute again. And the next time around, you'll be a little bit better. And then you should fail again, because a lot of us do. But then you do the same process. Make that mistake, learn from it, make adjustments, and then execute again. You have to keep executing because if you stay on the sideline, that's where you're going to stay stagnant. In order to grow, you have to keep executing. It looks like this. It looks like climbing a ladder. You climb, you make a mistake, come down a little bit, you climb. But as long as you're actually pursuing it and actually executing, you never go back to the beginning. So even when you fail, you're failing forward. It'll be a little bit and then you'll keep going. You'll go higher. All right. So it's okay to fail, but no more procrastination. No more procrastination. You have to take action. And here's how you do it strategically. Take small steps, but make sure they're consistent. Consistent small steps are better than trying to take giant leaps and you have large gaps of time in between. All right. Avoid the pressure of massive change. Small discomfort daily is much greater than big leaps. And you have to reframe discomfort. Like I told you in the previous videos, it's important for you to treat fear like an obstacle that you have to leap over. Don't treat it as a stop sign. Treat it as a signal that you're going in the right direction. Because if you were comfortable all the time, then that means you're not growing. The only way to grow is for you to get uncomfortable. So you have to start treating discomfort like it's a good thing. And it's important for you to embrace messy learning. You'll move between fear and learning and comfort zones all the time. And that's normal. Don't beat yourself up about that. Just consistently take action. And as you take action, as I stated before, learn from every failure. Don't fail the same way twice. If you made a mistake one way, ensure that you make a different mistake the next time. It's okay to make mistakes, but we don't want to repeat the same ones because in life, you'll get the same test over and over if you don't pass it. Once you do, life will give you new tests. But that's good because that means that you're growing, you're going to another level. So, here's the next step for you. As you start taking these next steps, reflect on your progress and celebrate your wins. Track what you've overcome and celebrate it, even if it's the small wins. It proves you're not just the same person you used to be. It proves that you're growing. All right. So you want to record that. And you also want to make sure that as you're doing this, you're setting outcome based metrics. Don't just track how many books you've read, track how many books you've taken action on, track how many books actually changed your life because you decided to apply the knowledge that you gained. That's very important. Number 7, you want to create a launch or die deadline. That means that if you're not going to do it, just get rid of it. As simple as that. I told myself if I wasn't going to make another YouTube video, I was going to delete the channel. And I know based off what I've heard from people who've watched it, that this channel is important to people. So I didn't want to delete it, but I also didn't want to just keep it dormant. I want to continue to change lives one person at a time. So I decided I was going to put out another video or I was going to let it die. And today is the day. Thursday drop. It's not on time like I would want it to be. Normally I like dropping these at 4 p.m. and I want to get back to that consistent schedule. But I'm making sure I put this out because I told myself if I didn't put it out, I wasn't going to put out any more content. In fact, I was going to get rid of all of my content and just leave it as like a lost dream. But see, this is how you have to keep yourself honest, keep yourself accountable. You have to create launch or die deadlines. All right. Which leads me to my next step. Build accountability. You have to fear disappointing others, but you mainly have to fear disappointing yourself. I would have disappointed myself if I had put together this video, so I ensured that I did. But even if I didn't, I had other people holding me accountable. I literally had students tell me, hey man, when's the next video coming out? So that's important to me. I know that this content matters. I also have family and friends that told me like, hey, when are you going to drop the next video? I want you guys to know, I heard your voices. I heard what you were saying, and I appreciate you holding me accountable. It's very important to me. You need people that believe in you so much so that they know what you're capable of. Because even when you lose that drive for yourself, they will keep the drive going for you. And they can actually light that fire in you to keep you going. So have your accountability partner and make sure you hold yourself accountable because it's important for you to reach your full potential, which is why you're on this channel to begin with. So let's recap. The first episode of this series, we learned about leaving your comfort zone. It's scary, it's uncertain, makes a lot of us anxious, but after you do that, you feel empowered, bold, and clear on your vision. Then we talked about facing new challenges. It's overwhelming, it comes with a lot of doubt, and you question yourself, am I really made out to do this? Am I really built for this? But once you do face those challenges and you overcome them, you feel energized, you feel motivated, and a lot of times it gets addicting. So you look for that next challenge. All right. And we also talked about building new habits. And then lastly, we talked about getting past that area, that growth cap where you feel like, am I growing? Am I not growing? We talked about how acting upon what you're learning and what you're doing is actually how you experience growth. And that's how overall you become a new you, become the person that God wants you to be. All right. So this concludes our trilogy. My final message to you all is you're not stuck because you lack talent. You're stuck because you haven't crossed the line from learning to doing, to actually taking action. But the moment you step fully into your growth zone and you leave your comfort zone, I want you to know everything shifts. You'll start to realize yourself for who you really are. You'll walk different. You'll think different. You'll move differently. Why? Because you become someone who lives outside of their comfort zone, someone who lives in the growth zone. And when you become someone who lives in the growth zone, fear no longer stops you. You're now courageous and able to do things you never thought you'd be able to do. And I believe in you. I know you can do it. And I'll be here to guide you every step of the way because I know you got this. Kings and queens, as I said, this is the end of this trilogy, but it will not be the end of this YouTube. I'm going to continue to make content and to support you all on your journey in life. And I want you to know that living in the growth zone is just the beginning of your new life. You're not who you were 3 episodes ago. If you made it this far, you're not who you were before because now you have the knowledge. All you have to do is execute. So you get to decide what comes next. Look forward to seeing you. All right. Overall, if you've enjoyed this episode and if you enjoy this content in general, please like, subscribe, share it, tell somebody about it. You know, we are trying to continue to build this thing out from the ground up. And all of us are working towards changing this world one person at a time. I love you. And I know you guys got this. Amen.